Mr Mayor, you said recently that I'm not particularly interested in this civil liberties stuff, but do you not think that surveillance, Met surveillance, that costs a lot of money, should be targeted at people who are a risk of serious criminal activity?
Yes, of course, Jenny, and I think you have a question later on in the order paper about this a particular case. But you know, I've always been clear that there's got to be a balance, and I am not, in principle, against the Met having access to the means by which people who might mean us very serious harm can communicate with each other. And as you know, what's happened is that new technology allows people to communicate over the internet in a way that is not always easy under the current law for the police to monitor. All we are saying is that in certain circumstances, with the right approvals, with the right oversight, and I would like ultimately there to be judicial oversight of that, I think that the police should be able to have access to such data. And if you look at what, you know, as I say, it's difficult to draw conclusions about what happened in Paris, but if you look at recent events, even the tragic death of Lee Rigby, it is obvious that surveillance of these characters is extremely important. Most of them are on the radar. Adeboulajo and Adebowale were on the radar. The guys in Paris were well known. And it is important, in my view, that communication between them, the planning, the preparation of atrocities, should be something that we are able to monitor.
What seems to be coming out of France is that actually they were under surveillance, but what was missing
in Paris.
Was this sort of, in Paris, yeah. But what was missing was sort of dogged police work that wasn't anything to do with surveillance. It was about talking to local communities and other bits of police work. So it's not all about surveillance.
Electronic surveillance.
And over the past few years, I have been saying to you that the Met are spending time on surveillance of people who have not committed crimes and who are not at threat of serious criminal activity, including myself. And when you say, I'm not particularly interested in this civil liberties stuff, can you not see that sort of giving carte blanche to the police to carry on with what I would say is abusing their powers and tracking people who are no threat to us? And wasting time and money. Our money.
On the contrary, I think most Londoners will be thoroughly grateful and willing to accept that the police have a duty to keep under surveillance, and yes, that must include electronic surveillance, of monitoring of communications of those who could be preparing serious atrocities, who could mean our society real harm. I think that is entirely right. The issue for me, is what is the judicial oversight? What is the level of responsibility? Is this done on the say-so of a very junior officer? How often is it done? And so on and so on. That is the issue. But the principle of actually being able to access such data, it seems to me, is one that most sensible people would accept.
In 2013, the police made something like 93,000 requests under RIPA, exactly as you describe, using a fairly junior officer to actually okay surveillance. Now, you're saying that isn't what you think should happen, so are you going to stop the Met doing that?
I think that there should be a proper and accountable system of
authorization. But there's not.
But I have to tell you, if you look at the success of the police over the last few years in bringing murderers to justice, very, very often it is because of mobile telephony data of one kind or another.
You're getting off the point.
No, it's not. It's bang on the point.
It is off the point. Because what I'm asking about is the police using their powers.
It is absolutely vital.
And you are turning a blind eye. You are choosing not to look at this problem.
Well, I know that you've got a question later on about this issue, but I'm content that the balance of the argument should be in favour of the police having access, in principle, to the communications data of people who might be planning atrocities in this country, in this city.
Right. Assembly Member Malthouse.
Mr. Mayor, you refer